This is Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Telecom Reseller, and I'm very pleased to have with us today JL Valente, who's the Vice President of Product for Enterprise Routing and SD-WAN at Cisco. JL, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Doug.
Well, this is probably my 300th or 400th podcast in SD-WAN, but we have something very unique to talk about in addition to all the news that Cisco's been working on to make SD-WAN better. And that is recently I saw a headline that used the words extraordinary, enhanced, and experienced all in the same sentence as SD-WAN. And I really was curious about what that was all about. How is SD-WAN an experience, an extraordinary experience?
All right, that's a great question, and yes, indeed, we are really trying to push the envelope in terms of the application experience that users have. At the end of the day, enterprises are looking at SD-WAN way past just the savings that they can get in terms of the business, the MPLS circuits, etc. But really being able to reach and create a fabric, global fabric that is the primary method for accessing, protecting, in the best way possible workloads, whether they are SaaS applications, whether they are applications built in the cloud or on premise. And you want to be able, obviously, to deliver to this breed of applications that are now accessible from so many different, locations or actually environments, working from home, working in a branch or campus, working remotely just as you travel. How do you ensure that you facilitate as the business becomes digital, that application experience at scale? That's really what we're talking about when we talk about this overall SD-WAN experience. There are one key focus for the users of those applications, the user of applications, but there is also, to your point, the practitioners, the network administration, the network operations, the folks operating the NetOps, the platform itself, and the ones that are contributing to it. Talk about protecting, not just connecting, which means that it's NetOps, it's also SecOps, but it's also DevOps more and more as they need more and more networking capabilities intra-cloud, inter-cloud, and branch to cloud.
So, JL, to make this extraordinary experience happen, and as you're talking about some of the specifics, you guys did some specific things in terms of expanded support or additional capacity and so on. Could you tell me a little bit more about those things you did?
Yeah, so we recently had our Cisco Live event. We run it in different parts of the world. It was actually in June, late June in the US, and Cisco Live US as we call it. And during that event, we announced a revised vision towards simplification of networking and improvement of the overall user experience. And again, a twofold user experience for the end user, but clearly first focused on the practitioners, the ability to have to simplify IT and bring together, converge the platforms, so the capabilities at that level in a unified, management environment across the LAN, the WAN, even the data center networking, all the way to the cloud networking, and be able to do that whether those enterprises leverage an on-premise environment, a hybrid cloud environment, or actually a cloud first environment, and be able to drive that through a combination of capabilities that really offer the level of flexibility, the level of automation, the level of insights that they need to be able to achieve those objectives.
So, for example, you introduced closed loop automation capabilities to predictive path recommendations or PPR.
That's correct. So, we've been, as you can imagine, we and our partners, channel partners, but also the MSPs, collect a lot of telemetry information. And that telemetry information over the years has given us some very strong insights around what's working and what's not working, related to, for example, quality of experience, as we call it, which is obviously metrics, aggregated metrics that leverage things that we know very well: packet loss, latency, jitter, but other elements associated with digital experience management solutions from a user experience standpoint, system capabilities related to an application, including, for example, like Microsoft Office 365, which we work with. We leverage elements, we exchange telemetry with some of those vendors, SaaS vendors, for example. We combine that in multiple ways with the networking to create that quality of experience. And then based on those insights and the inference that we have, the advanced models that we do, we can actually optimize the path selection. We can propose actually new path. And when we talk about closed loop, what we've done recently is not only do we propose an optimization or not of the path, but we offer the policies already built so that people don't have even to, they can just say, review that policies that we're offering to improve the level of quality of experience, or SLAs, for a site, for specific application or set of applications, and provide that in an uptime at a level of performance that is really in line with what has been defined as a SLA or as an SLO.
And is this part of your vision of a cloud-based consumption model?
Yeah, so we do that, as I said, for applications. I know also you guys are very close to the whole aspect of unified communications and that collaboration. We also look at some of those elements for voice applications, collaboration applications. So I mentioned Microsoft. We do Google Suite as well. We do WebEx, as you can imagine, because those applications are very sensitive, as we all know, to degradation, to packet loss, or jitter, and we want to make sure that obviously we have those elements taken care of. Now, in addition to that, one of the elements of in facilitating a better experience is really to offer our SD-WAN solution as a utility, as a service. And that really means that at the end of the day, we are taking over so that our customers can consume our SD-WAN solution as cloud delivered. They don't have to worry about managing the underpinning environment, all of the aspect of backup restore, security concerns, updates, and so on. All of that is being taken care by Cisco. We're making available an environment that is immediately available to them for their SD-WAN implementation, their security and data policies, this application experience, the insights and analytics, etc. That's really what we're after.
And is that consumption model part also of your cloud WAN integration?
Yes, so we one of the things we've announced there, which was a very much expected from us, is the AWS Cloud WAN integration. So AWS itself has evolved beyond. You can today build or stitch together your network capabilities from branch to cloud. AWS, leveraging what they call the transit gateways, the TGW. There is work that is required to be able to do that. And what we've done here is really they've built actually a utility service or service that pay as you go on the cloud, on your cloud, in which obviously we can provide as a service this whole stitching of the cloud networking environment, leveraging the cloud on ramp of Cisco. So we've integrated the SD-WAN fabric with the AWS global backbone now, not just regional, and leverage a level of orchestration, monitoring, and management in a single dashboard for performance optimization and for really simplification of this whole network management as well. So that's really what we've done there as the middle mile. Because when you look at really the evolution of the architecture from SD-WAN, first mile is really collapsing and becoming more straightforward, simpler. A lot of broadband, Ethernet, a lot of 4G, 5G, 5G coming on strong as well as part of the initial mile, the first mile, and then a plethora now of capabilities from a what we call the middle mile standpoint, which is really around leveraging obviously your traditional service providers, business internet, direct connections, whether through through the public cloud providers or through software-defined cloud interconnect or through the service providers, the communication service providers, an AT&T, a BT, etc. So those players as well into the mix here. And now what we see with SD-WAN is a number of system integrators and also VARs able to offer this whole SD-WAN overlay capabilities with all of those arrangements to their customers, whether mid-market or enterprise and large enterprise customers. And that's really where the opportunity for the channel and for communication service providers and managed service providers is going forward.
So, JL, as we wrap up our discussion today, it sounds like part of this new experience that Cisco is touting as far as SD-WAN is simplification in so many words that it's much easier to do and implement, even though we're in a more complex and challenging environment for the enterprise and also, as you put it, for the practitioner, for the dealer.
Absolutely, 100%. I think we still have, if you look at the market, maybe two-thirds of the market has actually taken on an SD-WAN solution at this stage. We still have at least a good third that has not yet maybe been convinced or has found actually the obstacles to be pretty large for them actually to embrace SD-WAN. We see actually more opportunities even at the intersection of IT and OT in that context. But your point is critical. What we're trying to do with Cisco Networking Cloud, for example, which is, although we say cloud, it's as much on-prem as it is for hybrid or as it is for the cloud first, is really simplifying the overall experience end to end so that the customers can really harness the capabilities even across the entire networking domain. The switching, the wireless, so the obviously the LAN aspect, the wireless LAN, the WAN, and obviously the data center networking all the way to the cloud networking in a simplified platform that leverages the latest that the technologies can offer today, including obviously we didn't discuss the obviously today famous or infamous AI aspect and all of the elements coming into play. Generative AI will be part of that because there is so much we can offer, even in simplification of policies, writing them, in terms of forecasting, so more from a traditional modeling aspect from an AI ML, in terms of predictive, as we discussed, predictive recommendation, but also forecasting, troubleshooting, anticipating problem, assisting and helping the practitioners to do more with the same level of resources that they have today in an environment that is very dynamic, very real time, as you stated, with events that happen every day. There are actually, we see it, issues and new applications coming on board, being able even to model that, understand the impact of it, is very critical. So it's good for the users and for the enterprise. It's good for the channel as well because it removes frictions in terms of selling those solutions and obviously having a very good return on those solutions as they become more and more standardized in the market.
Well, JL, I really want to thank you for joining us today and taking a little bit of time out to explain this better to our audience, to explain to the Cisco community and the readers that we have that are using Cisco or selling Cisco or other people that are just looking about these innovations and changes that you guys have made it for SD-WAN. Where can we learn more about Cisco and SD-WAN?
So obviously, Googling or going to Cisco website, the Cisco SD-WAN. By the way, as we know, we didn't touch it too much, but SD-WAN is evolving toward SASE, Secure Access Service Edge, at the intersection of network security and networking, with a lot in the cloud. And so Cisco SASE, Cisco SD-WAN, all those roads will lead to actually the solutions that we have in this area. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure looking forward to the next time we get to talk about this. But for now, JL, thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure, Doug.